You are listening to listener-supported Elisha Space podcast, where we discuss topics of faith and mental health. Today, we have Erika Stewart, owner of Brighter Day Psychiatry. She is a board-certified psychiatric nurse within the state of Maryland. Today, we will discuss the myths and misunderstandings of psychiatric medication.
Okay, I am so excited about today's guest audience. I am so excited to have Erika Stewart with us. She is from Brighter Day Psychiatry. She is a board certified psychiatric mental health nurse practitioner with experience with dealing with various mental health conditions. She has worked in settings such as long term care, obstetrics, I know I said that wrong, intensive care, case management, and psychiatry. So Erica is the boom chicka boom, if you guess you want to say. All right, y'all. So I'm so excited to have her with us today. And she's also a born again Christian. Okay. And so we're going to talk about the Lord. We're going to talk about mental health, and we're going to talk about dispelling some of the myths that are around taking medication. It is not lack of faith to take medication if you need it. So we're going to talk about that and talk about that, and we're going to talk a little bit about her practice. She's here in the DMV area. She sees people in person as well as virtually. So I'm going to stop talking about how awesome this person is, and we're just going to chit chat. So Erica, welcome. I'm so happy you're here.
Yes. Thank you so much for having me, Alicia. And it is just such a honor and a privilege to come and join this podcast today, just to share some information, and hopefully someone will be helped today.
Well, it is my pleasure and my privilege to honor you for being at Elisha Space. And I just want to ask you, Erica, how'd you get started?
Yes, that's a very good question. Long story short, I became a nurse in 2009, and I've worked my way up, but I started in long-term care, working with those with dementia and Alzheimer's. And I've worked in many different settings, cardiac ICU, long-term care, case management, obstetrics on the mother-baby unit. And I absolutely love being a nurse. I love working in hospital settings and doing all of the medical interventions. And I have to say, I've never imagined myself getting into psychiatry. Of course, when you're a nurse taking care of people, you meet them at all different stages of their life, and many of them did have psychiatric symptoms, but that was never my area that I was necessarily, drawn towards. It was mainly, I would say, obstetrics and other medical floors. So basically, it wasn't until, I want to say, 2016, 2017, the Lord put on my heart to go back to school to become an advanced nurse practitioner. So, like I said, I was a registered nurse at the time, and basically what an advanced nurse practitioner does, they can actually diagnose and prescribe treatment medications. So I said, Lord, I don't know what you're doing, but that's not what I want to do. I'm comfortable in my career. I'm like, I'm comfortable. I love to take care of people in that capacity. But he said, no, you need to go back to school. There's something that I want you to do. So I actually enrolled in the family nurse practitioner program, not mental health. And but the Lord, once again, he said, no, you need to do psych mental health. And I said, psych, no way. You're talking about another Erica. That's not anything that I've been interested in. But the Lord is so wonderful, and he sees everything outside of eternity, right? So he knows the past, the present,
Amen.
and the future. So even in 2016, he knew the pandemic was coming. He knew inflation was coming. He knew that the world would be desperate for help and suffering with their mental health. So he groomed me then to basically minister to people during this time. So that's really how I got into it. The Lord put it on my heart to obtain my psychiatric mental health nurse degree so that I can care and minister to people in such a time as this, where people are feeling hopeless, they're grieving the loss of family members, they're struggling just to function because of everything that's going around. So he's using me to, of course, to help, them feel better organically and with medications, but also to extend hope and to let them know that, with both, medications and the Lord and other treatment modalities such as therapy, that, they can survive this, they can function, and they can be the best version of themselves.
Most definitely. I think that quite often, especially with all of the triggers, you have social media, you have, it seems like more people, and maybe it's always been this way, but it's just coming out more because things are more public with because of social media, really, in my opinion. The terminal
Yes.
diseases and things like that that people are picking up. You're hearing more stories, in my opinion, about like cancer and things like that, chronic pain, all of those things. And then you talk about depression and anxiety and the trauma and how it all ties into that. So quite often in my practice when I'm doing therapy with people, quite often I'm letting them know it's okay, especially my brothers and sisters in the Lord. I'm letting them know
Hmm.
if you need to take medication in order to help you get through this for right now. It doesn't mean, first of all, it doesn't mean it's forever, but if it'll
Hmm.
help you regulate your mood, it's okay to do that, you know?
Absolutely, absolutely. And I loved what you said when we talked originally about medication and faith. A lot of people believe that if they do take medication, that they're not utilizing faith. And I liked how you said that you can do both at the same time.
Mhm.
You can take medication for your mental health and have faith. And I love that.
Mhm.
And what I explain to people that are first of all, I don't force anyone to take medication. Now, even if I highly recommend it, I always say it's no pressure. And number one is Bible. So I tell people, seek the Lord in everything that you do, and He shall direct your paths. And
Right.
everything is including mental health.
Right.
So that's the first step. If people do pray, I do advise them to pray and ask God which way He would, like them to go so far as treatment. I mean, that's always, but of course, if there's individuals that don't pray and are considering medications, I compare the brain to any other organ in the body. And just like your liver can have an off balance, or there can be something wrong with your heart or pancreas, and medications can help, it's the same thing with our brain.
Mhm.
Our brain has billions of neurotransmitters, and they all have different functions, but many of them are responsible for our mood, keeping us calm, um, helping out with motivation and executive functioning. And when those neurotransmitters are off balance, that's when we can see the symptoms present and manifest. And those symptoms can manifest at home, at work, in relationships. And with medication, it can help balance those neurotransmitters so that you're able to feel like you're functioning or returning back to your normal.
Mhm. Mhm. And I think that the word normal is very important because that's really all people want. They want to feel normal again. You know, do you
Yes.
have a story about someone that you worked with where they experienced like an amazing transformation from taking their medication?
Absolutely. I have a wonderful story of a client, and he came to me with his parents, young adult in his 20s, and just severely depressed, where he was failing in college classes and actually dropped out of school. He stopped working. He wasn't sociable, wasn't hanging out with friends, very isolated, and basically would stay up all night and sleep all day. He wouldn't
Okay.
even go outside for a walk. Just very depressed, very disorganized, had difficulty with focus and things like that. And he already came to me on medication, but we had to make some adjustments. And at that time, he was not in therapy. So the Lord is so good because this young man really did an amazing transformation. So and it took several weeks, but long story short, I was able to tweak his
And usually,
medication.
I'm going to
Yeah.
interrupt you for a second and just say there is no, especially when it comes to issues that are deeply embedded,
Hmm.
when it comes to depression and anxiety,
Yeah.
it is normal if it takes a few weeks. It's not a
Yes.
quick fix. There's not a band-aid and then you feel better. That's not even what the medication is for. It's to help you function while you're in the process of going through this journey, you know?
Correct. Absolutely. It does. And that's what it was for him. It wasn't anything that happened overnight. I met with
Hmm.
him every 1 to 2 weeks, and while making these medication adjustments, I was able to recommend therapy, and his parents helped him enroll in therapy, and they also did family therapy. So long story short, I've been working with him for about a year now, and he's a different person. I mean,
Wow.
he's in his second semester of college. He's
Hmm.
making very good grades. He has a job. He's outdoors. He told me, he said he
And that's huge for somebody that struggles with depression.
Yes, yes. Oh, yes. They don't like to go. So
Hmm.
he's
Right.
outdoors. And he told me the other day, he said, guess what? I actually met someone and we went out on a date. And
Wow, that's pretty
yeah, that was
awesome.
awesome. And I try not to, get too much in this business because I'm like, where'd you go and what'd you do? But he can see the excitement because, when I tell people, when I treat people, I always ask them, what is the change that you want to see? How would I know that these medications are working for you? That's what we
Hmm.
want to know because depression looks and feels different for everybody and it
So
affects
true.
people in different ways. But what we
Hmm.
want to do is look at things objectively as well, because sometimes feelings, come and go and they can
Hmm.
change. But we want to look at functionality. And for him, he was able to get a job, excel in school, be outdoors more, and he was able to date and be more sociable. And those were things that he weren't able to do prior to the medication adjustments and prior to therapy. And I tell people medication is about 25% of treatment. The other percent of treatment is therapy, making sure that you're healthy, you're eating a healthy
Hmm.
diet, you have adequate
Hmm.
sleep, you're not putting any substances in your body that's going to cause your symptoms to worsen. So it really is a holistic approach. It's not just one modality, it's many different things that's going to be beneficial.
Right, I agree that and there's no one thing and then I'm fixed.
Correct.
It's a combination
It's a
of those things.
combination. Correct.
It's a combination. How what is it like for someone when they come to see you in the beginning? What is it like for them?
Absolutely. So the initial visit is basically what we call a psychiatric evaluation. So it's 60 to 90 minutes long, and I'm basically getting a chance to know this individual. I'm getting a chance to know their history so far as psychiatric history, their medical history, social history, and then I'm going to ask them a series of questions and things about basically how they're feeling. So when a client comes to me, the first thing I say is, what brings you in to see me today, or what kind of things are you struggling with? And that will kind of guide me into the lines of questioning that I'll ask them. And I kind of make it like a conversation so they don't feel like they're on an interview, but it's just a
Mhm.
conversation. And then at the end of the evaluation, I always ask them what is their goal for treatment, what is something that they would like to work on, or what is a priority for them, because I believe in taking a collaborative approach. What
Me too.
yeah, so their goal may be different than what I'm thinking that they should do. So number one is, what is their goal? And I want to collaborate with them. I want to work with them and be a partner with them.
Mhm. 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 So and a lot of people kind of think it's them being fixed, like this is
Mhm.
going to fix you.
Correct.
And it's just a piece of the puzzle. It's not necessarily that you're snap your fingers and you're going to be fixed.
Correct.
It's not like if you wake up and you have a headache, you pop a couple of pills and then or pills of aspirin
Hmm.
and then automatically you're okay. It's a different type of thing because you're talking about a mood disorder
Yes.
and there's many different pieces audience that goes with the mood disorder. So what she's trying to on my side and on her side, what we're trying to do is we're trying to navigate through what's happening so that we can put whatever pieces are there because it could be a variety of things that you're dealing with.
Correct. Correct. Absolutely. And I like what you said. We can't use medication as a band aid. So we have to correct or work through any underlying stressors. So, for example, if you're very stressed at your job, you hate your job, and that's like the major thing that's causing your depression, medication won't necessarily fix that. You're going to have to work through that situation and try to either learn to cope with that stressor or deal with it in a way. So medication will definitely help you work through it better, but it's not going to fix any situations that you may be dealing with. And it's not going to change who you are as a person.
Right, right. Nor is it making a statement about how you have lack of faith.
Hmm.
You don't pray enough.
Correct.
Let's just get it out there with the myths that are out there.
Yes.
Uh, You
Yes.
know, um, you're not a you don't as I said like a faith. You don't pray enough.
Yeah.
Um, Fasting and prayer. Some things come out just through fasting and prayer. You haven't fasted enough.
Right.
All of the
Absolutely.
things. So first of all, just let me kind of say you have to be led as the Lord leads you
Yes.
when it comes to those things.
Yeah.
And that's and yes, Jesus is our healer
Yes. Yeah.
and he is the one who is the hope of our salvation.
Yeah.
He is the one who brings us that joy and helps us to go from a place of sadness to joy because he's our Lord.
Yes.
With that said, we operate in three dimensions: spirit, soul, body. So in our spirit, we're already there, but our soul is our mind, will, and emotions. So within our mind, will, and emotions, there still be maybe some things that need healing that have been unresolved. And this is where the things like the medication to help you, the exercise, the change in diet, um, all of those other things can help you. And yes, it's true that uh, prayer and fasting and praying, I do that on a regular basis, helps. But there may be some breakthrough that you've yet to experience. There may be some layers that you've yet to experience that may be a trigger for your depression and anxiety
Hmm.
that you have yet to deal with. And it's not a lack of faith to take the medication so you can function, so that you can get up
Hmm.
in the morning,
Yeah.
so that you can give your babies love
Yes.
and take care of those people that are there. And I don't mean to go in my soapbox about that, but I really want other Christians who are listening to this to hear
Mhm.
my heart that um, it's not you taking medication has nothing to do with your lack of faith in who Jesus is and then his ability to take care of you.
Mhm.
Would you
Yes,
agree with
I
that?
agree with that so much. I definitely agree with that, and that is a common myth. A lot of Christians are reluctant to take medications. They feel like it's medication is not having faith, and I agree with you. There are some things where people do have mental symptoms, and it could be due to trauma or things that aren't healed. And sometimes
Mhm.
the enemy does play a
Mhm.
part. The enemy comes to steal, kill, and destroy. And sometimes fasting and prayer will do that. But then there are other times when I feel like we blame a lot of things on the devil, and that he's not responsible for. And then there are some times where it's not anything that's the root cause, like that's spiritual, like from the demonic realm, but it just really is an organic problem. It's that organically your neurotransmitters are off and you need some medications to help.
Mhm.
So, but I like to say this. I feel like God delivers and he heals in different ways. Sometimes he'll just do it instantly, boom, you're healed, you're delivered. And then sometimes he'll take you through a process, but he uses people like you and I who are basically an extension of him. So he's using us in this world, to help people and to help them in different ways. So, the Lord allows different ways and different methods for people to be healed. Like I said, he can do it instantly for some people. Sometimes he will allow people to get medication treatment or medical treatment as well. But it definitely doesn't take away from the lack of faith. And like you said, we always, ask him to direct us, but there's absolutely nothing wrong with considering medication if you feel like you've done therapy, you've prayed, you've fasted, and you're not seeing any results. Maybe this can help as well.
When someone goes to Brighter Days Psychiatry for assistance
Yes.
and support, how what are the three main things you want them to have as
The three
takeaways?
main things. Number one, I want them to know that it is a safe zone. It's a judgment-free zone. So, no matter what they disclose to me, I am not here to judge anyone or to shame anyone. I want people to feel comfortable when they come to Brighter Day to share what they're struggling with, because I only know what you tell me. That's number one, that it's just a safe zone, judgment free zone. And number two, I practice holistically, as I mentioned. So I don't just focus on medication. I'm going to do a thorough, comprehensive evaluation because I want to know where the leak is. I want to know all the pieces of the puzzle because I want to make sure that we target those things so that you can return to your functioning, your normal functioning, or the best version of yourself. And then number three,
Mhm.
a big takeaway is that I'll say a lot of people will ask me, well, do I have to take medication forever? Is this something that's permanent? And I tell them no, it's not anything that's permanent. Research shows that if you take medications for at least 1 year after you start to have a remission of symptoms, so once you start to feel like yourself, then that will prevent you from going back into whatever symptoms you were struggling with. So I tell people it's not permanent. It's temporary for many people, but it is something that can help you cope with whatever you're dealing with.
And that's the important thing, just being able to I talk to so many people who are struggling in the area of depression and anxiety. And I say depression and anxiety, not taking away from trauma, but especially in the area of like severe types of mood disorders. And it's a challenge to even get up and
Mm-hmm.
go use the restroom. I've even worked with people who will prefer to wear an adult
Mm-hmm.
diaper than to get up to go
Mm-hmm.
use the restroom. So, and that takes away a lot of, um, you feeling valued as an individual, you know? So it's just so important to be open to different modalities, to be open to different forms of treatment because you don't have to stay yes you're still going through a healing journey, you're still going through your healing process, but you don't have to stay where you are. You can take this medication or take or go through because um to my understanding what you do is you look at their full panels. You take
Yes.
their blood work.
Yes.
You take their blood work. You look at the full panels of their lab work
Mhm.
that gets done, and you look and you say, okay, well, so maybe they're missing vitamin
Mhm.
D in their diet. Maybe they're missing
Mhm.
um, iron, because iron is also a thing there. So you can look at, and maybe that's why they're feeling a
Yeah.
little sluggish. So you can look at what is going on um, holistically first before we even get to the medication. And that's one of the first things I talk about in my intakes is, are you exercising? When you're
Yeah.
eating, what kind of foods are you eating? Are you eating a lot of carbs, or are you eating smoothies? Are you eating fruits and vegetables? What are you eating? Because that can affect your mood, you know, and it's all tied and
Yes, it
connected
is.
together. So when the Lord told you to go into this field, what type of challenges did you personally experience with your faith? Because I know it was a little bit
Yeah, so
different.
it
You
was
know
a
what I'm saying?
challenge because I felt the same way as many people. I said, Lord, I don't, I'm questioning this because I look to you as the healer. You're able to touch minds and transform
Right.
hearts, and I feel like I can never, what can I do for these people if they don't have you? What can I do? So he gave me the
Right.
revelation. He's like, Erica, many people are not seeking me. Many people are not seeking me out. Many people don't know about me. So I need to use you as this vessel. This is where, so I'm giving you the tools. I'm giving you this degree and this platform to show people, that there's help and there's hope. And by me working with them, like when people come to Brighter Day, I don't bash them over the head with the Bible or preach Jesus to them, but just me being understanding and wanting to help. And soon they'll start asking questions, or they'll start you know talking about certain things that will open that door. But that was the biggest thing with me, with my faith, is that I didn't want to. I thought the same way. I thought, like, how is medication going to help if they don't know you? But he's like, no, you go into this practice, you have this platform, and you help and minister to these people, because they may not know me or see me, but they can see you and they can see how you're trying to help them, and that can open the door. So that was definitely a struggle, and I'm so glad that the Lord has helped me with that, because I love what I do. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love helping people. I don't care what background you have. I don't care what you believe. I don't care what you've done. I just love serving people, and my prayer is that I will see you as Jesus sees you. And if you're listening and you're wanting to know if you're worthy or if you're loved, Jesus loves you. You are worthy. He died for us. He knows you by name. So that's really what he wants me to do, is just to spread his love. And this is the path, the avenue that I'm able to do that.
And that's kind of like how I flow with my practice too. Is I want to show people the
Yeah.
love of God. I don't care who you are. I want to show you the
Yes.
love of God. And I don't care what you've done either. I mean,
Oh my
as a
goodness,
therapist, you hear all kinds of things,
yes.
but but I just want to show people.
That's
I
what
just
I
want to
do.
love on
I
people.
love loving
You
on
know.
people, and I wanted my own practice because I can do that. I have the freedom just to love on people and not to be, restrained by time or different things. I just want to love on people, and I will be your biggest cheerleader. I will, support you. I will be your biggest fan, but that's just what brings me so much joy. It's just caring for Jesus people,
Mhm.
because he loves you. So I love you. That's my commission, is to love you as I love myself.
Yes, yes. So I think that's just a powerful, powerful thing there. And that's another podcast, actually,
Yeah,
loving others as you love yourself. You know
absolutely.
what I'm saying? Self care. So, um, So, how can people
Oh,
reach you? How?
sure. So you can call me on my phone. It's 443 420 7028, or you can email me at info@brighterdayspsychiatry.com. And it's just Brighter Day, no S at the end. So info@brighterdayspsychiatry.com.
And there's no
No,
dash or
and it's a
period
HIPAA
in between or
compliant.
anything.
Yeah, so all of your
Oh, one word.
information is a HIPAA
Okay.
compliant email, so you don't have to worry about it going to a personal email. This is directly to the practice.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today. I am so excited about um, what it is, you know, that you are a faith-based board sci- uh, board certified
Mhm.
nurse practitioner who assists people who need medical support, as particularly in the area
Yeah.
of mood disorders. And you can go onto her website at brighterday.com to get more information, to get about what she does and the specialties that she works
Yes.
with people. Okay. So thank you, Erica, for joining us. You will be with us in other podcast audience. She will be with us. So if you like her as much as I do, then she will be, you will definitely hear from her again. And I thank you for coming on the show. It was truly a pleasure. So, audience, I say to you that go forward in your healing journey and continue to walk in His peace. And have a good day.
Thank you for taking time out of your day to listen to Elisha's Space, where we discuss issues of mental health and faith. Like our shows? Subscribe so you can be in the know of upcoming episodes. Now go move forward in your healing journey.